Research analysts power companies with data and insights to make better decisions. Without this information, companies are flying blind. But unfortunately, being an analyst today is not as much about doing the actual analysis, but it's about everything else in between, such as collecting data and copy-pasting information in one place. Plus, you need to know how to code, which takes quite a bit of time. Now, what if I told you that you could do both data collection and analysis automatically? Sounds crazy, right? Let's take a look at this competitive analysis automation powered by a Chrome extension called Bardeen. Here you can see a Google document with the analysis based on comments from Capterra and G2. Data was collected with a no-code scraper and then analyzed and summarized with AI. This would have taken me days to do it by hand. In this video, you're going to learn how to supercharge your workflows as an analyst with automations. And as Bill Gates once said, I choose a lazy person to do a hard job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. At the end of the day, your success should be measured by the quality of your insights and not by how good of a scraper you can build for some random website. Let's take a look at a more practical example. Imagine that Bardeen wants to know about the latest issues that their users face. In defining this problem, we might want to narrow it down a little bit. For example, we might want to create a shorter time frame because the product always evolves. So how about doing it in the last 3 months? And also, let's only look at product issues such as UX problems where people get confused and do not know how to make the automation run, and the bugs where the product didn't perform as expected. Now let's brainstorm a solution. I'm not a UX researcher, so I'm not going to talk to users. What if I could collect data that's already available? I could use publicly available feedback from users. For example, we have this YouTube channel and we can just extract comments and see what users say. So our solution is to scrape a bunch of YouTube comments from the latest videos. Okay, let's get our hands dirty. First, I'm going to show you how to build a no-code scraper and then how to use AI to analyze the data. Let's take a look. So here we have our YouTube channel and let's click on one of the videos such as this one. What we want to do is we want to build a no-code scraper that's going to extract these comments over here. First, you'll need to download the Chrome extension, Bardeen.ai. I'm going to leave a link to download Bardeen in the description of this video. Let's open Bardeen over here and create a new automation. They're called Playbooks. We're going to pick one of the actions. In this case, we want to scrape information, and let's scrape data on the currently open tab over here. Now we need to provide a scraper template. Scraper template just informs which data fields we want to extract from this page. We're going to create a new template and run this on the currently open tab. If you want to learn a little bit more about how Bardeen Scraper works, make sure to check out the in-depth tutorial in the description of this video. So here we're going to pick the list scraper because we want to grab the list of comments over there and name it YouTube comment scraper demo. Click on start. And the first thing you're asked to do is to locate 2 similar items on the list by clicking on 2 similar elements. All right, so Bardeen automatically has detected this list of comments, and now we need to specify the data that we want to extract. For example, we might want to get the body of the comment. Let's click here and name this comment. All right, as you can see, there's a data preview for the 11 comments that you can find on this video. Now we want to grab the name of the person, maybe even their profile link, because why not? I might also want to segment comments that are the most popular, so I'm going to grab the like count. And finally, want to scrape all of the comments that might be present on videos that have more views that do not get loaded onto the page. For that, we need pagination. Here we have infinite scroll pagination. So what Bardeen is going to do is going to scroll to the bottom of the page until there are no more list items to load. This looks good to me. I'm going to save this template. And just like this, we've built a data collection tool without code in just a few minutes. Here's another cool thing that we can do. We can perform a sentiment analysis on the comments that we're going to scrape. This sentiment analysis is going to classify each comment into positive, negative, or neutral. So I can do further analysis just based on all of the negative comments or all of the positive comments. Let's do exactly this. Let's add another action, find OpenAI. And the action we're looking for is called sentiment analysis performed by AI. This action requires an input. It needs the text to perform that sentiment analysis on. So we're going to find our action number 1, and we're going to run it on the comments. Click on done. And finally, we want to save this information somewhere. We can create a new Google Sheet, or we can edit into an existing one. I'm going to add a new action and find Google Sheets over here. There we have it. And we're going to add rows to a Google Sheet and click on Ask Me every time. So whenever you run this automation, we're going to be asked which Google Sheet you want to add this information to. This argument is going to be called Sheet. And finally, we need to map the data onto a Google Sheet. So I'm going to add a column over here with the information from the previous 2 actions. I'm going to have a comment, and then the comment is going to come from the scraper. Looks like we need to open Bardeen in a separate tab because YouTube might be interfering with it. So I'm going to create a comment field over here and then map the data from the scraper. There we have it. Add likes. Add the commenter and their profile link, just so that we have it. And the best part, sentiment analysis. And the data for this column is going to come from action number 2. Click on done. Here we have an automation that consists of 3 actions. It's scraping the information, then it's analyzing it with OpenAI, and finally it adds this information to a Google Sheet. Let's click on done to save this automation. Let's call this automation YouTube comment analysis in Google Sheets. Click on save. Okay, and here we have our automation. So we can run this automation on any video. It can be on the Bardeen official channel, or this can be any other video on YouTube, maybe of somebody else who recorded a video specifically about Bardeen reviewing it. Those comments would be also very useful. Let's give this automation a shot. Open Bardeen on this video, click on the card, and let's specify that spreadsheet. I want to create a new spreadsheet named Bardeen Comments. And let's run this automation. Here is our spreadsheet with the sentiment analysis. Let's clean it up a little bit and freeze the first row over here. And what I love doing is this. Let's create some filters. So now we can select only positive comments, for example. All right, so here we have our positive comments. It looks like it has even picked up other languages, which is pretty cool. Let's go back to the default view, and there we have it. Now what you can do is you can go to the next video. Let's open Bardeen and check out the most popular videos on the channel, such as this one. This time I'm going to open Bardeen with a shortcut, Option B, and click on this playbook card. And what you can do from here is you can pick that spreadsheet that we just created, Bardeen Comments, and you can remember this input. You can remember this specific spreadsheet so that you no longer need to specify it, and the automation runs with just 1 click. Boom, and there we have it. Let's go back to our spreadsheet, and here we have more comments. That easy. And to take it a step further and create a more sophisticated automation, you can add another type of scraper that's first going to scrape all of the video links from the channel, and then it's going to run this individual page scraper that extracts the comments from each one of the videos, so that you do not need to click on each video one by one. But for what I was looking for, this is a perfect automation. Now we can take a look at our second use case. Imagine that we're doing an analysis on a publicly traded company and want to understand the media coverage for that company using Google. There are probably hundreds of articles that contain useful information, but we might not want to go one by one and read each article. Let's go ahead and build the automation that's going to extract all of the recent news about the company and then use OpenAI to summarize information from the article. So the company I'm interested in is SpaceX, and I'm going to open the news tab, and here we have a bunch of news. We might want to narrow down the results over here because some articles were published 3 weeks ago, some a few hours ago, and many articles were published years ago. If you're familiar with how advanced Google search works, you can type in a more specific query, such as after, and then the format is going to be 2023-01-01, so this year. Scroll down, and now we have a search within the given time frame. This is perfect for what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and create a quick scraper for Google News. I'm going to open Bardeen, click on create new playbook, click on scrape. You're already familiar with how this works. I'm going to click on scrape data on active tab, create a new scraper template, run this on this page, click on list scraper, give it a name, demo Google News scraper, build the automation, click on two similar elements, grab title of the article, then click on this title one more time and pick a different type of element. In this case, we want to get the link that's hiding behind the element. Call it link. And here you can see we have the data preview. Let's grab the meta description, the publication name. And here comes a very important part. In this case, we can only see 8 results. In order to load more results, we need to go to more pages. This is called pagination. And at the bottom of this page, you can see different types of pagination. This one says no pagination, so it's going to only scrape the results that we see on the current page. And I'm going to pick click pagination. This is where you need to locate the next button, such as this one, that's going to go to the next page in Google search. So I'm going to click on next. I'm going to save this template. You're pretty familiar with how this works already, but because there might be thousands of articles and I might not want to scrape this many, here I'm going to specify how many list items I want to extract. This is an optional parameter. It's not required, as you can see, but I want to specify it. Let's call this field how many articles, question mark. Okay, and here's what we want to do. We want to go to each one of those articles on the list, then we want to open them in a separate tab and extract all of the content on that page, and then we want to run a summary engine, and then we want to summarize each one of those super long articles into just one paragraph. So the next step for us is to follow each one of those web pages. Click on new action, and the action you're looking for is called get HTML. Get page as HTML, that's the name. And then we need to feed this action a link. If we go to our scraper over there, what we can do is we can grab the link to the article. Click on done. So now we're getting everything that is inside the page. And the next thing we want to do is we want to extract text from HTML that we can perform analysis on. Let's add the new action. The action is called convert HTML to text. And we're going to feed HTML from action 2, entire value, just like this. Okay, just to recap, we're grabbing a list of links, then we're going to each one of those pages and extracting HTML code from each one of the pages. Then we're converting that HTML code into text. So this is the body of the article. And finally, let's add another action with OpenAI that's going to summarize that content. Get summary of text, that's the name of the action. And the text is coming from action 3. And here you get to specify the level at which you want to do the summary. Let's just do a paragraph. Finally, we need to add this information somewhere. We are going to add a new action and save this information to a Google Sheet. If you want to, you can also add sentiment analysis to see the distribution of positive versus negative articles. Pretty cool, right? But for us, we're building a simpler automation. Let's add rows to a Google Sheet. Pick Ask Me Every Time like we did last time. And let's add the column. Let's get the title. Article title. Let's grab the article link. Meta description. And finally, let's get our AI summary, which is action 4. Click on done. Click on done again to save this automation. Let's call it AI analysis on Google News. Let's save this automation. Now let's go ahead and run this automation on this specific search query. I'm going to click on Bardeen over here, run this playbook, and I want to run this automation on 12 articles. So we're going to go to 2 pages and let's create a new spreadsheet, create new Google Sheet named SpaceX News. And let's run this automation. Okay, and here are the results. I'm pretty excited. Let's click on view. Yes, and here we have a list of our 12 articles and their summaries over here. How amazing is this? Let's format the sheet a little bit. So now instead of reading 12 articles, you can just go through the summaries and understand the fundamentals. You can also add another action that's going to take all of those summaries and create another summary in a Google document so that your work as an analyst is pretty much done. Now let's take a look at the third use case, and that's building data pipelines. So we have collected some information up to this point, but what if we want to get additional information as it gets published? What if we want to get additional articles about SpaceX as they come out? Well, there is an automation for this as well. This automation is going to monitor a specific website, and when there are changes to the website, in our case, when there's a new article that comes out, we're going to trigger that sequence that we just ran manually. Let's go ahead and supercharge the automation. I'm going to open Bardeen, and here we have our AI analysis playbook. What I want to do is I want to duplicate it so that we have this option as well, and let's call it automatically add new articles from Google News, SpaceX. Okay, let's click on save, and let's open this automation in the builder. Here we have scrape data action. What the scrape data action does, it gets information on the currently open tab. So we need to be on this website, we need to run the automation from this website in order for it to work. Instead, we want to run it in the background and want to run it specifically on this URL. So here we have the URL. Let's delete this code that doesn't add any value to the automation. So here we have Google/search, we have SpaceX, and after a date, and then there's this tab called news. So this is what we want to do, but let's narrow down the automation a little bit further and let's make it run. I want to get articles that are published after today. So as you can see, it's February 10th right now. So here I am going to put in February 9th. So those are the most recent articles, 11 hours ago, 8 hours ago. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Looks like the company is pretty popular. Let's copy this query over here, open Bardeen again. As you can see, the progress is obviously saved. The next thing we want to do is we want to monitor changes on this URL. I'm going to add another action, and the action is called when website changes. So when website changes, and here we are asked to specify that scraper template. We have the template that's called demo Google scraper, and then we're going to be monitoring this specific URL. So let's paste it over here. That's pretty much it. Let's click on done. So here's a little bit more information about what this specific action does. Every 20 minutes or so, Bardeen is going to go through all of the pages on this URL and is going to remember what those pages are. And then 20 minutes later, it's going to go through that URL and scrape information one more time. When there are new articles, when the information doesn't match, it's going to say, hey, their website changes. And when their website changes, we're going to perform an action. In this case, we'll want to delete this scrape data on the currently active tab and instead want to get pages as HTML. So this action is going to return the difference between those two scraping attempts. So all we need to do is we need to just adjust this action, and we need to feed it URLs from our trigger, then pick link. Okay, so this action is going to output new list items, and this action is going to take the links of those new articles and just perform the rest of the workflow over here. And for this last action, we want to specify the spreadsheet. Our spreadsheet is called SpaceX. Okay, and now we might want to map the data from the previous actions. Let's go ahead and do this. We need the article title, we need the article link, trigger link. Want to grab that meta description and want to get that AI summary that comes from action number 3. Let's click on done, and let's click on the playbook card to enable this automation. And just like this, we've built a data pipeline without any code in just a few minutes. This is going to be a game changer for you as an analyst. Make sure to go down to the description of this video to grab a link to Bardeen and links to those exact automations that you saw in the videos that you can start using out of the box. Up next, make sure to watch this in-depth scraper tutorial by clicking over here, and check out the OpenAI automations tutorial over there. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.